Salutations and welcome to Kirby Plays Games. This is 7 Days to Die, and in this video, I am going to show you how to make a forge. We will go over required knowledge, materials, and how to use the forge once you've made it. This info is based on version Alpha 19 of 7 Days to Die, which was recently released for PC. So if you are seeking a method of smelting, then this video is for you. First, you will need to unlock the ability to craft a forge, which can be done in two ways. The more reliable method is to invest a skill point into level 1 of advanced engineering, blacksmith. This unlocks the ability to craft a forge and lets you craft items 20% faster at forges. Besides spending skill points, all of these can be unlocked by finding the corresponding schematic in the game world. These can be looted or purchased from the trader, but basically if you find a schematic for a forge, you can use that to unlock the ability to craft a forge without spending a skill point to do so. Also, it is worth noting that a destroyed workstation will have an increased chance of containing a corresponding schematic in its loot. That is to say, a destroyed forge has an increased chance of giving you a forge schematic as part of its loot drop. All of this being said, once you know how to make a forge, you still need the stuff to make it. So let's check out the required materials. To craft a forge, you will require 50 small stone, 60 clay soil, 10 leather, 3 duct tape, and 3 short iron pipes. You can buy almost anything, including these items, from the trader, but it will cost you, so we will spend a minute on how to acquire each of these materials from the environment. The stones can be picked up from the ground, but it is much faster to find a boulder and chip away with your stone axe or pickaxe if you happen to have one of those. Clay soil can be dug up from the ground in most biomes and basically everywhere in the forest biome. For the most part, you can just dig up a few patches of dirt with a shovel and you'll have enough clay soil pretty quick. Leather is a bit trickier, as it is most often acquired by killing animals and skinning them. This can be a bit of a challenge early game, so another option here is to hack apart leather chairs and couches in buildings. You can also scrap clothing that is made from leather, and you won't get quite as much with these methods, but it is good to have more than one way to collect it. Duct tape is sometimes found in loot, but can also be crafted with cloth and glue in your inventory. Cloth can be made from gathered cotton or much more quickly gathered from curtains, couches, and beds. It is possible to make glue early game at a campfire with bones and murky bottled water as long as you have a cooking pot. Finally, the short iron pipe will often turn up in random loot. However, a more reliable way is to use a wrench on cars, sinks, or appliances. This of course depends on you having a wrench, so often it is easier just to loot them since they are fairly common. Once you have all the materials, make sure they are in your inventory, and find the forge in your crafting menu. Once you click craft, it will take just over a minute for your forge to craft. And then you can place it by putting it in your toolbar, selecting it in your toolbar, and clicking to rotate and place. Once your forge is placed, you can put some fuel below the tools section. The forge can be turned on either with the on-off button below the fuel or by starting a new recipe. The first thing you will likely want to do is start smelting metal and clay to craft forged iron, since this is required to craft better tools, weapons, and constructions. Place iron and clay soil into the smelting tab under the fuel and turn the forge on to start smelting. The amount you have smelted of each material will show up on the right hand side of the smelting tab, and this is what you use for crafting in the forge. Search for forged iron in the crafting menu on the left hand side of the forge screen, and once you have smelted the required amount of clay and iron, it should become available to craft. You can set several to craft at once, and even if you leave the forge, it will continue to craft as long as it is turned on and has fuel. Explore the menu a bit, as there are lots of useful items you can make at the forge, including critical components for ammunition crafting. It is worth noting that different fuels have different burn times, and you are most likely going to want to use wood over coal, as they have 50-second and 20-second burn times respectively. Also, later in the game, the forge can be upgraded by adding a crucible, anvil, and bellows in the tools section, so keep this in mind. And that's it, you're smelting. Just be careful not to run the forge too long and too hot. Too much forge activity has an increasing chance of attracting zombie hordes and zombie scouts that draw other zombies towards you with their screams. So be careful out there in the zombie apocalypse. If you got some useful info from this video, and if you are looking for more tips for surviving in 7 Days to Die, check out some of my other guides and tutorials, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Finally, thank you very much for watching, and as always, have an excellent day.